Hello, beautiful people. It is Obscurist Tourist here once again, and once again I come to you from beautiful Ontario, Canada. Basically, yours to discover. Yeah, that's the motto here. Anyway, the pandemic is raging with a fury in the United States, and I highly doubt I will be able to get down there this year at all. There is no way. I mean, who knows what'll happen, but at this point it doesn't look like the borders are going to open anytime soon. So I'm discovering Ontario little by little. It's a very, very vast place. Anyway, today I come to you from Georgetown, Ontario, which is very close to where I grew up in Bramalea. And if you can see behind me, this is just some of the remnants from one of the oldest relics in this area. In fact, it might actually be the oldest still standing structure in this entire region. This is the Barber Paper Mill, and it was constructed in 1858. So, join me. Let's go. Let's go on a little exploration around this beautiful place. And found something through the trees here. It is an old trailer, and I'm not really sure if this was here at the end of the Barber Paper Mill's life or if it was something that was placed here in the subsequent years. Either way, it has definitely seen some better days. And just around this bend, there she is, the old Barber Paper Mill in all of her former glory. And right at the entranceway is the old date of when this place was built, 1854, which would make it one of the oldest buildings in all of this region. This part of the site is just complete ruins. Not really sure what function this would have had back in the day, but it is completely without function now. This made Heritage Canada's top 10 list of most endangered sites. And the current owners have proposed building a 14-story what else condominium on this place. And that was a few years back, so I'm not really sure if that's ever going to happen, and I can't imagine that the locals or anyone into old heritage sites or even Heritage Canada would allow that to happen. So I guess it's just wait and see. And it doesn't matter really what abandoned site you go to, because there is always some dude who spray paints something about his penis on the wall. And this looks to be one of the production areas of the mill, and right there, that looks to be some old timber that probably would have been used, not probably, it would have been used to make paper back in the day, which was the sole function of this wonderful facility. Some birds are now calling this place home, so at least there's still some life. And just on my left here is one of the old rolling doors, now laying decaying. I love these old doors. This thing is probably well over 100 years old. And yeah, They still don't make things like they used to. Wouldn't mind checking out this room. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to find another way in, considering that there is a substantial drop right below my feet. Not going to risk that. This place isn't really scary right now. It's certainly not creepy, since being that it's during the day, but I can only imagine that this place really gets cooking at night. Apparently, this place is said to be haunted by Robert Barber, who is, I'm not sure really the relation to John Barber, the guy who started this old mill back in the mid-1800s. But they've had a few paranormal researchers in here over the years and picked up various musings from supposedly Robert Barber, talking about how he wants to save this place and revive it. Still got some old machinery laying on its side. Probably maybe an old press of some sort. And probably ran the paper through this. Pretty cool that it's still here. Okay, well, you know me in basements, not a huge fan. But we can sneak a little peek down here. Not going to go all the way down. It's pretty dark in there. Some machinery parts just hanging around. Some more remnants of lumber from yesteryear. And if you take a peek out here, just out this window, you can see the Credit River and all the beautiful nature that surrounds it. The Credit River was integral in the functionality of this pulp and paper mill back in the day. So without that, this place would not exist. And this looks to be the end of the line on this side of the mill, and this little 2x8 bridge serves no purpose except to go into that wall, and I have absolutely no reason to walk the plank today, so I'll stay safe. Over here. Oh look, more penis graffiti. And no penis graffiti is complete without a giant penis. Beautiful drawing. And we even got some timely graffiti here, a little COVID-19 artwork. Believe it or not, the Barber Paper Mill was the first electrical generating plant in all of North America. And at its prime, it was the largest operating mill in Halton region, which I would assume would be back in the late 1800s. And another open, you can see some of the skeleton of the floor roof of the basement. Well, it seems I've found another much less scary entrance to the basement. That's that walkway I was observing earlier. What really, really fascinates me is I am a lover of old brick and rock in architecture, and look at that. That just shows its age. definitely the original foundation. And none of you should really be surprised at this point, but guess what I found? Yep, another giant penis drawing. They're everywhere here at the Barber Paper Mill. Now, I briefly stopped upstairs and did a little more research on the paranormal happenings of this place. And not only does Robert Barber haunt this place, but it seems that John Barber too, the very man who founded the mill way back in the day, is said to also walk these various rooms and the basement and the factory floors. And as I venture deeper into this lower level, I wonder if his spirit frequents the dark and damp basement. I guess, much to my chagrin, we shall find out soon enough. I don't know how well you can see these, but these look to be the old storage tanks or vats that would have stored the pulp down here in the basement. There looks to be about 5 or 6 of them all together, and it's really neat to see that they're still here in one piece. Preserved history. And this over here isn't the most comforting message, along with a spray painted pentagram. Just really not the sort of thing you want to see walking alone into the darkness in the basement of an abandoned factory that's 162 years old. And here's more machinery parts just laying around forgotten. It's surprising that there's so many remnants still laying around here after all this time. It's really quite surprising how large of a space this mill takes up. Walking in these halls and through these rooms is like walking through an endless labyrinth of history. And let's peek into yet another pitch black room. I really need to start bringing a proper flashlight on my exploits. Sorry about that. I guess this is the main way that the workers here transported material between floors back in the day, either by cart or some other wheeled transport. Again, a very interesting glimpse into the history of this mill at a time before elevators. Just walking around outside here, and on the side of this hill I found the remains of what looks like a giant sieve. I'd only be guessing at what it was used for at the factory, but a fun find nevertheless. And here's more, well, spray painted, but more of the original rock that helped to build the foundation here. This building's just awesome. And right up there looks to be the original loading dock, and this is probably where trucks later in the mill's life would go up, retrieve material, and probably the same entrance and exit that would have been used to haul out material with a horse and buggy. Multi-purpose and timeless. And right up there, just a little bridge walkway. That's probably where I assume the foreman would have stood, making sure that everybody was doing their work and that the lines were run properly. And just outside the factory I found this, which looks to be probably the old pump that either would have pumped pulp around the factory or helped some of the water from the Credit River and diverted into the factory itself to help it function. Not bad for something that's been sitting here for over 150 years. Well guys, that's it for me here at the Barber Paper Mill. I am absolutely boiling hot. It has got to be something in upwards of 40 degrees, which it's been for over a week now. Anyway, Obscurist Tourist, to you, stay beautiful, and until next time, stay safe.